Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what it do, people? What's up, aunties and uncles? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review. Well, I'm going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9 reunion. This is part 2, y'all. Remember, part 1 was like 2 weeks ago. We had to break for the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Anywho, did y'all team win? I don't follow football. I'm just Lakers fan. Go Lakers 24/7, all day, all day, all day. Yes. So this California over here, Southern California, born and raised. Yes. And loving it. Yes. Speaking of loving it, I kind of love this reunion part 2. They ain't letting up on Mia. I mean, it's a whole Yellow Beezy situation where they ain't letting up. Ooh, if y'all don't know that song, I Ain't Letting Up by Yellow Beezy, ooh, play that. You will play that all day. I'm just saying. Anywho, reunion part 2, Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9. I can't wait for season 10. Because I don't think somebody coming back. I don't think she coming back, y'all. I don't know. Well, actually, I'm talking about Mia. Mia seems thirsty enough. Hey, everybody raised different. Like she said, I wasn't raised right. So, her priority's a little messed up. But based on the thirst of it all, she'll, and the money's right, she'll be back because, in my opinion, I think she left Gordon alone because his money wasn't the same. It was real funny over there. And then she got with Ink because, who else can she get with? And when her and Ink didn't really pull through, but then they say that they lying. It was real interesting in this reunion. They just said everything about Mia is a doggone lie. And she was upset, left a couple of times, just real sick and tired of the ladies ganging up on her. She didn't say that, but that's what it looked like. When everybody, well, I would say everybody, well, Stacey kind of chimed in, but she wasn't as vocal as the rest of the ladies. I mean, the whole right side was like, girl. Kay was more subtle with it. She wasn't so loud or aggressive like Gizzhell and Ashley. Wendy was reading her for filth in a very intelligent, here I go that very again. I'm trying to get rid of this very out of my vocabulary. In an intelligent way, Wendy was reading her for filth. Jacqueline showed up looking pregnant. And child, wait till you find out who the daddy ain't. Okay, let's get around to it. So we started off talking to Gizzhell, talking about, how she doing now. Ain't no kids in the house. She said, oh, I'm loving it. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm having a grand old time. Now she, can do whatever she wants. Ain't no kids there. I'm like, dang, you sound like she couldn't wait to get them kids out the house. Like, girl. Like, oh, I'm glad them heifers is gone. That's what it sounds like. Geez. I mean, she sound real relieved. She sounded real relieved. That's all I got to say. And she mentioned NAMSA. He's coming through. They're an item. Of course, she getting that D, that BBC, all up and through that tacky house. You know what? I'm going to stop calling her house tacky because, to each his own. But what I will say is the decor is just real different. Ashley, she talked a little bit about her and Josh, talking about they slowing things down. And, Then she started on Wendy due to the jokes Wendy was giving her. Well, Wendy was giving in her confessionals about Josh, like he's, did she call him a broke Jack Harlow or a young Jack, something in reference to Jack Harlow, and he didn't appreciate it. His family didn't appreciate it. And Wendy's like, well, I didn't appreciate when you brought a rumor onto the show about my husband fathering babies outside of my marriage. And Wendy was like, live in it, stick with it. Next. Ashley tried to come back, but it kind of failed because Wendy was on that ASS. Wendy was like, listen, if you can talk about mine, I can talk about yours. And that's pretty much, that they love a tit for tat on these reality shows, child. It should be called Tit for Tat Potomac. Real tit for tat housewives of Potomac. That's what I mean, I'm with Wendy. I mean, if you can talk about my husband having babies on me, hello. And then Ashley was like, well, it was told to me, and I just talked to you about it. But yeah, you brought it on camera. No, we all know Gizzhell told Ashley, and then Ashley brought it on camera. Because that's what Ashley do. So they had their little thing, their so-called, reading session that lasted for about like a minute or two. And he tried to shut it down, but they just kind of let it linger. It wasn't nothing there. But Wendy did slay Ashley in that situation. Then we got Kierna. She spoke very eloquent. Here I go. Very. You know what? Every time I say very, I'm pinching myself. Kierna spoke on Greg. They are together. She did move out. She got her a condo. And in the process, she's going to have her premarital income, because, I don't know about over there on the East Coast, but over here, if you're a first-time home buyer, right, you'll have to live in the house for a year before making it an income property. And any subsequent properties that you purchase, it can be an immediate income property for you. So, passive income, right? Her and Greg are still together, like she said. They actually went ring shopping. She still ain't got her ring on. But she's currently buying her condo, like she said, like I said, and explained how Greg feels. He feels invasive with all the cameras. He wasn't comfortable with the fight that went on last year, but he's definitely in it for her. Like I mentioned in my previous reviews, child, the last 15 episodes, however many episodes it's been this whole season, I can understand his apprehension. He didn't like what happened last year. He's not that typical dude that is, just going with the flow. He's a traditional man, and a lot of well-to-do or certain mindset of men don't, I would say more elevated mindset of men don't like the reality scene because of all the negativity and the backstabbing and, that whole premise of mess being the on the forefront of reality TV. He ain't with all that. And like he joked with his brother in previous episodes about folks, getting divorced and breaking up and everything. It's just a whole lot of stress that he don't want in his life. That's understandable. And Kay explained it very well. I'm glad that they are still together. I'm glad that they are ring shopping. However, I would have liked to see a ring on her finger. Hello. I hope she wasn't lying about the ring shopping, child. And it's one thing for somebody to explain their life, but why ain't Gizzhell chiming in? Certain things don't need nobody else to chime in on when they're explaining what's going on in their life and what their mate is doing for them. I just thought it was, overstepping, just like when Gizzhell introduced Josh to Ashley's family during that drag king show that she did. That was for Ashley to do. Like I said then in that review, overstepping for camera time, trying to get a reaction. It ain't cute. Anywho, Stacey, she says that her and TJ are not together. A little bit of pressure from the folks watching the show, some from the fans, also Wendy's comments. You know, Wendy's like, yeah, I said it. The whole episode was Wendy when they wanted to confront Wendy on what she said. It's like, yeah, I said it. Yeah, that's what I said. And this is what I meant. I know that's right. Listen, I said it. It is what it is. You know, how Wendy mentioned they just, don't seem like they're, compatible or a real couple. He's not into her. It is what it is. But at the end of this thing, well, actually, the end of part 1, Wendy got a text from Eddie. And then they, slow walked us to see exactly what that is. Apparently, TJ said something to them when Eddie and Greg was FaceTiming him to see where he at, thinking he would be there. But he ended up saying that because of the unfortunate fires out here in LA and in Pasadena, Altadena areas, he had to evacuate, but he's doing okay. And he meant to say, I ain't going to that fake show. And apparently the word on the street is Stacey was paying TJ to act as her man when he's really not. So we're going to find out part 3 because that part was still etched into part 3. They gave us a little bit. I guess we're going to get the rest of it next. That they better have, and it better be good. It better be epic. And it better be better than Kenya and Walter from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, so now we're getting into the fashion. Oh, child, wait a minute. These fashions, they were talking about Wendy's fashions being, all this and all that. And Wendy in her confessional talking about how the ladies were trying to copy off of her. And it kind of did look like that, sometimes. But there was one look that actually did with some pearls and a cream fit where she didn't know that Wendy had a similar situation on because those were confessionals filmed outside of each other. Again, if they filmed the confessionals at the time, I don't understand why they wait to do that. I don't see the point. I mean, they have to think back and take notes and make sure I don't see why they do that. I don't see the point. Are they waiting to see the episode, or are they? I don't know, because it seems like they don't get the episodes until right before a film. Listen, to me, it's best to get the reaction at the time. So, for instance, when they film something that happened that day, like for instance, the confrontation Karen and Gizzhell did with Mia at the Drag King show. Any reactions from those conversations that happened that particular scene, they should get them at the moment, because they film the confessional as if they are in the moment. They're speaking in present tense when the thing happened already. So, it's fake reality. Just film stuff at the time. Ooh, production. Another issue I got with the production. So they also talked about Stacey's comments on the hair situation, saying that the 613 should not be worn by everybody but Karen and Gizzhell, and how Mia and Ashley's hair was horrible with the 613. And then she went on to talk about the dresses that were worn at her Struts and Pups, was it? Struts and Strays event. How Vivian was supposed to be the exclusive designer for their dresses. However, that was not the case. She was upset. Apparently, the dress Stacey wore was worn by Ashley before at some event Ashley was co-hosting or speaking at. And that is what prompted Stacey to say, fuck you, bitch, to Vivian about trying to cause angst between the ladies, make people believe something that's not happening, and just not presenting an honest contract, if you will, between Stacey and Vivian. And Stacey, and because of that, Stacey is done with Vivian. She was called out for cussing like that. Everybody was like shocked. She's like, no, I just, when it was like, yeah, you did. You said it to me in a text. Yes, you did. And then she kind of owned it, you know. And Stacey tried to say that she elevated Vivian, and Gizzhell was not having it. You elevated Vivian? Apparently Vivian got it going on down there to the DC area. So this, I don't think that this is hurt nothing. Now Vivian should be a friend of the show. But then again, it all depends. I think the point of contention is whether or not Karen Huger comes back. Because that's up in the air, child. I mean, hell, is she gonna be locked up? Because child, y'all hear about no, okay, tangent. This stuff about Karen, child. Talking about she got 4 occasions where she was excuse me. 4 occasions where Karen was stopped due to alcohol-related drinking and driving. 4 different occasions. I don't know how many convictions, but 3 prior to now did not end up in any jail time. I don't know if there was any consequence. I mean, this is ridiculous. And because of that, there have been a motion or a request of the prosecution to formally introduce a minimum of 6 months in jail for this DUI conviction that she just got. Child, Karen going to jail, child. It's going to be a miracle that she don't go to jail. I mean, but you know, when she get out, it's just going to be, oh, poor Ray. Who's going to take care of Ray, child? You know, Ray is in his, 80 something? Karen is just turned 62. Girl, what is you thinking? Girl, she better hope nothing happened to Ray while she locked up, because she probably, I bet as soon as she get, and that sentence is going to be either today or tomorrow. It's going to be this week. Child, Karen, I think she's going to jail, y'all. Oh my God. I can't. Again, why is all these people waiting till a good old ripe age to put their feet up and to where they are going to the pokey, going to jail? Almost everybody getting caught up in the elderly or AARP ready or beyond, going to the pokey. Child, listen, I'm auntie. That's Auntie Ray Ray, okay? And I ain't done nothing that will warrant me going to the pokey or even getting arrested. Now, you know, listen, I ain't did nothing before now that anybody could bring up now, talking about you did this or you know, child, listen, if I did something, it show ain't jail worthy. Or nor do I need an attorney for it. Oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine. I just really couldn't imagine having to face jail due to something I did at any point in my life. Oh my God. And I don't intend on doing that later. You know how good life is to me at this point? Even though I'm still trying to get these subscribers up. Do you know how, if you knew how good life is to me at this point? Oh, child, whatever ain't going on, whatever ain't up to par, is nothing in comparison to how good my life is. And I'm just gonna leave it like that. So what else is happening in this Poe Karen? Poe Ray. Oh, mm, mm, mm. Yes, that's pretty much it. Now we got Jacqueline. She due May 2025. And child is not by that man she brought on the show. That's what she said. So in between that filming and you being as pregnant as you are, you mean tell me you got with somebody else that seen hot in the puss, hot in the puss. Because she had to be pregnant about the same time that she was messing with PP. Listen, I ain't trying to count nobody coochie miles, but you know, they long, child, they long. And then she was there to the next package is Mia, child. She was there to try and help Mia, but I don't think she did because it was on Mia's ass. Mia says the outside influence ruined her and Ink. You know how Wendy is not Wendy. Mia is so she's trying to train herself to speak so that whatever she says, excuse me, cannot be misconstrued as a lie, and she's just trying to sound real reality TV worthy. Well, you know, being in a relationship that's broadcasted, you know, on television does have its perks, it does have its disadvantages. And you know, by being on television, you know, there are outside forces that, you know, we just can't ignore, you know, girl, if you don't, girl, you can, girl. Anyway, Wendy says, you know, well, people were asked, Andy asked people on the show, the castmates, did they like Ink? And Wendy's like, she likes Ink, but, you know, he's kind, respectable. He dotes on Mia, but he, you know, didn't really think about what their relationship would bring from the fans or the viewers that watch the show. And she thinks that Ink underestimated all of that. Yeah. And she thinks that he had second thoughts. Gizzhell says, no, they still together. And from what I heard about you being on the plane, is that all you do is go back and forth to film stuff for the show, but you actually live in Atlanta. That's what I heard. I heard from the people on the plane that you fly all the time. And then somebody asked, "Well, aren't the kids in school?" And Mia was like, "No, they're homeschooled, and they can be anywhere in the world and still be homeschooled." So then everybody's like, "Oh, okay, so you really do live down there." But it seemed like everything Mia said was not believed. They were just contradicting everything that she said as if they lived with her. I didn't hear anything other than Gizzhell saying that she heard from the people on the plane. So she must know some stewardesses, whoever work on the plane that Mia is always on. So, you know, if you take the same flight, most likely, excuse me, there are some dedicated flights of personnel, of airline personnel that are always, you know, traveling in those directions. So if Mia is always flying out of one airport, going to a different airport, and it's always the same, you know, type of flight, the same flight pattern, you know, the same from and to arrival, departure, then most likely those dedicated flights with those employees on them would, you know, always be around. And perhaps, sounds like, Gizzhell knows whoever is working those planes, and Mia has had conversations or have spoke about what she's doing enough to where it was told to Gizzhell, and Gizzhell brought it to the show. Like I said, she's like, "No, you still together." And what I was told was that you do interviews and that you only fly back here. Well, not here because they're in New York. You only fly back to do the interviews and go back to where you live in Atlanta. So, and then Wendy said, all of this is orchestrated. It's a lie about the divorce. Gizzhell's like, yep, that's true. It's a lie. They ain't getting divorced, meaning Mia and Gordon, and how all three of them are in on the so-called joke about all of their plot lines and everything, or maybe plot holes. Hello. I thought it was a bit much. I mean, I was trying to hear their rationale or proof of all of this instead of just saying that Mia is a liar, because well, how do you know she's lying? And Mia took it very well instead of leaving a couple of times because she was crying and upset. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't, boisterous. She, took it on the chin for the most part. Admitted when she was wrong, when she wanted to admit whatever she was wrong about. Ladies mentioned, oh Lord, the IVF thing. So Mia, they start talking about the paternity, and of course that and also about G, and how Mia said G didn't want to come to be here, but then I heard her and G speak on an Instagram live that came out after this reunion aired, and how G did want to come, but Mia wouldn't let him. So I'm a little, I don't know, I think that was a lie too. Anywho, so the IVF thing. So she had the boy through IVF, but she says it's a possibility that the baby could be Ink's, because with IVF, and they're like, no, with IVF, you have to take a pregnancy test, and they're like, no, it has to be a blood test to be definitive, because that's a lot more defining than a P test. And I know that because I have healthcare background. Now, I forgot about the IVF thing until last week. So I'm just wondering, how could they have missed her possibly being pregnant during these IVF appointments and journeys, given the fact that she got pregnant through IVF? So that I can honestly say that was a lie, because if she was pregnant by Ink prior to IVF, they would have known, because the blood test would have shown her HCG levels. Now to get pregnant through IVF and having sex with Ink at the same time, is she trying to say that she could have got pregnant after IVF? And it could have been, girl, shut up. Ooh, they all chimed in, was like, nah, we don't agree, because pretty much everybody knows about it. And Jacqueline, like I said, Jacqueline tried to help me, but child, didn't work. Then Mia walked out while Gizzhell was pretty much scolding her about her negative storyline and the kids' fraternity and how trifling it is. And you are a bad mom. You are a bad mom. You are a bad mom. Pretty much going after her because of the things that Mia said about her children. So, girl, that was it. That was it for part 2. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we're going to catch you next time for that Married to Medicine, child. Ooh, they was trifling over there. Anyway, have a good one. Bye. All day.